Have you ever found yourself in that familiar yet deeply unsettling space, friend? That space where you've prayed your heart out, laid your burdens at the altar, and done all you know to do, only to find yourself still waiting in what feels like God's very own waiting room. You scan the horizon for a sign, a glimmer, the slightest movement of his hand, yet the breakthrough, that much-needed miracle, remains just beyond your grasp. There's a quiet ache, isn't there? A profound sense of confusion that can settle deep within your spirit, leaving you to wonder, did he hear me? Does he care? Am I doing something wrong? Perhaps it's your finances that are stretched thin, or a relationship that feels broken beyond repair. Maybe it's a nagging health concern that no doctor seems to fully understand, or a search for purpose that continues to elude you. You've been told to trust God, to wait patiently on him, and you've tried. You truly have. But the very act of waiting can become a heavy burden, tinged with anxiety, a subtle fear that perhaps your prayers aren't strong enough, or that your faith is somehow lacking. This silent struggle, this wrestling with divine timing and human impatience, it's a universal experience for those who walk by faith. We yearn for God's intervention, for his powerful hand to move mountains in our lives, but sometimes the silence can feel deafening, the stillness almost unbearable. And yet right there in the ancient scriptures, a timeless truth shines brightly, often recited yet frequently misinterpreted. It's found in the book of Psalms, a passage many of us know by heart. Psalm 37 verse 5. Commit your way to the Lord, trust in him, and he will do it. Read that again. Commit your way to the Lord, trust in him, and he will do it. Now, here's the crucial part, the insight that can revolutionize your understanding and experience of God's power. Most of us, when we hear this verse, our minds immediately gravitate to the trust in him part, and rightly so. Trust is foundational. But what if there's a precursor, a specific and often overlooked step that the verse highlights? A dynamic action on your part that unlocks the divine, he will do it. I believe with all my heart that this passage reveals not just an invitation to passive reliance, but a profound call to an active engagement, a crucial movement from you that God responds to with his limitless power. It suggests that God isn't merely observing our struggle, waiting for us to eventually give up or figure things out on our own. No, he is inviting us into a partnership, a divine dance where our intentional action precedes his supernatural response. This isn't about manipulating God or forcing his hand. It's about understanding the very principles of his kingdom, the wisdom embedded in his word, that when honored, unleashes his perfect will. It's about recognizing that sometimes the delay we perceive isn't God's reluctance, but rather his loving invitation for us to take this one vital step. And I assure you, this step is likely not what you've been taught, nor what you might instinctively think. It's not about doing more, trying harder, or manufacturing a faith you don't truly possess. It's something far more profound, something that touches the very core of your relationship with the divine. It's a shift in perspective, a strategic recalibration of your spiritual compass that has the power to transform every facet of your existence. This video is not just another message about faith. It is a deep dive into that specific, often misunderstood instruction from Psalm 37:5. We're going to peel back the layers of common understanding, challenge preconceived notions, and illuminate the practical, actionable way to truly commit and truly trust in a manner that triggers God's unwavering promise. He will do it. We will explore how this single, powerful step, once deeply grasped and authentically applied, ceases to be just a religious platitude and instead becomes the very key that unlocks the floodgates of his supernatural provision, his peace that surpasses all understanding, and his purpose for your life. Are you ready, my friend, to move beyond the frustration of endless waiting, beyond the uncertainty of unanswered prayers, and to step decisively into a new season? A season where you understand your role in the divine equation, where your intentional action aligns perfectly with his sovereign will, and where you witness God's powerful hand at work in ways you've only dreamed of. Prepare your heart, open your mind, because what you are about to discover will empower you to transition from the perceived waiting room directly into your season of miracles. Now let's delve deeper into that first critical part of Psalm 37 verse 5. Commit your way to the Lord. For many of us, the word commit conjures up images of a casual prayer, a fleeting wish tossed heavenward, or perhaps a sincere but ultimately superficial handing over of a problem to God. We might say, "Lord, I commit this situation to you," and then almost immediately we snatch it back with our worries, our anxieties, and our frantic attempts to control the outcome. It's a natural human tendency, isn't it? To declare our faith, but then, almost subconsciously, to cling to the steering wheel of our own lives. But what if committing your way means something far more profound, more radical, more transformative than simply presenting a request? What if it demands a complete paradigm shift in how we view our lives and God's role within them? Imagine, for a moment, that your life is a grand project. Perhaps it's a bustling startup, a complex business venture, or a highly intricate personal endeavor. You, my friend, are the visionary founder. You have the initial idea, the passion, the dreams, the fundamental blueprint of what you hope to achieve. You've invested countless hours, poured your heart into its conception, and perhaps even started to build some of the foundational elements. But then, you realize the sheer scale of the operation, the myriad complexities, the unforeseen challenges that arise, the strategic decisions that demand and wisdom beyond your own. You recognize that to truly succeed, to reach its full glorious potential, this project of your life needs a leader of unparalleled experience, boundless resources, and infallible foresight. This is where the unique approach of the divine CEO comes into play. Committing your way to the Lord is not merely asking for His input or His assistance. It is the ultimate act of corporate governance, the profound decision to appoint God Himself as the chief executive officer of your life's project. Think about what that truly entails in a business context. When you appoint a CEO, especially a truly competent one, you don't just hand over a suggestion box. You transfer executive authority. You entrust them with the strategic direction, the day-to-day operations, the ultimate responsibility for success and growth. You give them the access to all the resources, the power to make decisions, and the expectation that they will lead the company to achieve its highest potential. Now, apply this powerful metaphor to your spiritual journey. When you truly commit your way to the Lord, you are making a deliberate, conscious, and daily choice to say, "God, you are not just my advisor, my consultant, or my emergency contact. You are the CEO. I am stepping down from the executive chair, and I am formally placing you in charge of the entire operation of my life." This means a complete transfer of power. It's not just about handing over the problem itself, but about surrendering the capacity to resolve it according to your limited understanding. What areas of your life are you still attempting to micromanage, even after you've supposedly committed them? Is it your career path, where you cling to specific outcomes or timelines? Is it your financial portfolio, where fear often dictates your decisions more than faith? Is it your relationships, where you try to manipulate circumstances or individuals to fit your desired narrative? This profound act of commitment also includes what I call the manifesto of intention. It's a daily internal declaration, a deep conviction that God's ways, His strategies, His timing, and His ultimate vision for your life are infinitely superior to your own. It's an active affirmation that you trust His executive decisions, even when they don't immediately align with your quarterly projections or your personal comfort zones. How does this manifest in the practicalities of your existence? It influences every decision. When faced with a career choice, instead of merely weighing pros and cons, you ask, "What does the CEO of my life desire for this venture?" In financial matters, instead of succumbing to panic or greed, you consult the divine CEO's principles of stewardship and generosity. In relationships, you seek His wisdom for reconciliation, forgiveness, or boundaries, rather than relying solely on your emotional impulses or societal norms. This level of commitment requires humility, a recognition of your own limitations, and a profound trust in God's infinite wisdom and benevolence. It's about letting go of the reins you've held so tightly, not because you're giving up, but because you're confidently handing them to the one who knows the journey far better than you ever could. So as you reflect on this, friend, I want you to honestly consider, in which specific area of your life are you still holding on to the operational control, even though you've professed to commit it to the Lord? Where are you still functioning as the CEO when you know deep down that the divine CEO is waiting for you to fully step aside? This isn't a judgment. It's an invitation to a deeper, more liberating surrender. A surrender that truly prepares the ground for Him to act. Now that we've really grasped the profound truth of committing your way to the Lord, of intentionally installing Him as the divine CEO of your life's grand project, a natural question arises, doesn't it? If He's in charge, what then is left for us? Many might fall into the trap of what I call passive trust. It's the idea that once you've committed, you simply recline, hands folded, waiting for God to do everything, while you remain in a state of spiritual inertia. This mindset, while seemingly devout, is actually a misunderstanding of what biblical trust truly entails. It confuses trust with inactivity, a static expectation rather than an active engagement. It's an armistice, not a partnership. True trust, my friend, is never blind passivity. It is an act of seeing with a different kind of vision. It's not the trust of a passenger passively being driven, but the unwavering confidence of an explorer who follows a compass, even when the path ahead is obscured by mist. This is what I mean by faith as a compass, not a ride. You see, God, our CEO, has given us directions, principles, and promises in His Word. These aren't meant for us to simply admire. They are meant to guide our steps. A compass doesn't carry you to your destination, does it? It points the way, and you, the traveler, must still put one foot in front of the other. This active trust is built on what I like to call the muscle of divine memory. Trust isn't conjured out of thin air in moments of crisis. It's forged in the crucible of remembrance. How often do we forget the victories of yesterday when faced with the battles of today? The Psalms are replete with reminders of God's faithfulness, a constant call to recall His mighty acts, His unwavering love, His consistent provision throughout history. David, in his darkest hours, often recounted God's deliverance from the lion and the bear. He wasn't just reminiscing, he was strengthening his trust muscle, building a bridge of past faithfulness to cross the chasm of present fear. Think about it in your own life. Can you look back and pinpoint moments, specific instances, where God stepped in, where He made a way where there seemed to be no way, where He provided when you were utterly lacking? These aren't just random occurrences. They are pillars of remembrance, tangible proofs of His character. Intentionally recalling these moments, perhaps by journaling them, by speaking them aloud, by meditating on scriptures that echo His consistency, these acts strengthen your capacity to trust Him in the face of new unknowns. It's like a seasoned athlete who draws on their past training and victories to fuel their performance in a new challenge. They remember what they're capable of, because they remember what their coach, what their trainer, has brought them through before. So when the winds of uncertainty blow, your trust muscle, fortified by divine memory, responds not with panic, but with a deep, settled assurance. If He was faithful then, He will be faithful now. And this brings us to what I call the planned leap. The phrase leap of faith often carries connotations of recklessness, of abandoning all logic and simply jumping into the void. This too is a misconception. True faith, especially when coupled with committing our way to the divine CEO, is rarely reckless. It's not a blind jump, but a planned leap, a step taken with intention, guided by conviction, and anchored in the promises and principles of God's Word. When you appoint God as CEO, He gives you directions. He provides the compass. Your leap, then, is not into the unknown, but into the direction His compass points. Consider Abraham, called to leave his homeland for a place he didn't know. That wasn't a blind leap. It was a planned leap based on a direct instruction from God. He planned by packing his bags, gathering his family, and setting out. The destination was unknown, but the direction was divinely specified. This is where human effort, our best-laid plans, our due diligence, our thoughtful preparation, intersect with divine provision. We don't just sit and wait. We prepare to move in the direction God indicates, even if the entire landscape isn't yet visible. It might mean taking a course, seeking counsel, reaching out to someone, applying for that job despite feeling unqualified, starting that small initiative with limited resources, or even extending forgiveness when every fiber of your being resists. These are not irresponsible jumps, but calculated steps of obedience, taken under the guidance of our divine CEO's strategy. They are steps that say, "I trust your direction, Lord, and I am willing to move even when I can only see the next stone on the path." This active, engaged trust is the powerful counterpart to your complete commitment, and it is the very posture that invites God to fulfill His promise. So, we've committed our way to the Lord, trusting Him as the divine CEO, and we've embraced active faith, using His word as our compass for planned leaps. Now we arrive at the exhilarating culmination of Psalm 37, verse 5. "And He will do it." This is the part that ignites our hope, that fuels our perseverance, and that promises divine intervention. But here, my friend, is where many of us often stumble. Our human minds, accustomed to linear thinking and predictable outcomes, tend to fill in the blanks of "He will do it" with our own preconceived notions of how, when, and what that "it" should look like. We've meticulously drawn up the blueprints for our desired solution, and we expect God to simply stamp His approval on our plans, bringing them to fruition exactly as we've envisioned. This gap between our limited expectations and God's boundless reality is often the source of disappointment, doubt, and a questioning of His faithfulness. We pray for a specific job, a particular healing, a certain reconciliation, and when it doesn't manifest in the precise package we ordered, we might conclude that God didn't hear, or worse, that He didn't care. But the truth, the glorious liberating truth, is that God's "He will do it" is infinitely superior to anything we could possibly conjure up. His doing is not merely a fulfillment of our requests, but an optimized, sovereign, and often surprising orchestration that transcends our immediate understanding. It's not about Him solving our problem our way, but about Him resolving the situation His way, which is always invariably the best way. Think of it this way. God operates with what I call the divine algorithm, a perfect, omniscient, and utterly benevolent system that processes far more variables than our finite minds could ever comprehend. When we commit our way and trust Him, we're not just sending a simple request into the universe. We're engaging with a mind that holds all of history in its gaze, that sees every ripple effect, every potential future, every hidden motive, every interconnected thread of existence. His algorithm considers your past experiences, your present needs, your future potential, the greater good of those around you, and ultimately, His eternal purpose. It's not just about addressing your immediate need, it's about delivering the perfect result, optimized for your ultimate good and His enduring glory. This is why His solutions often defy our logic, surprise our senses, and always, in hindsight, make perfect sense. This brings us to the unexpected how. Because God's algorithm is so vast, so comprehensive, His methods of operation are often far removed from our expected pathways. We anticipate a direct door opening, but He might lead us through a winding detour that prepares us for a greater calling. We pray for a specific person to change, but He might first change us, transforming our perspective and empowering us to navigate the relationship with wisdom and grace. He might use people we never imagined, a chance encounter, a timely word from a stranger, an unexpected mentor. He might use events that initially seem like setbacks or detours, only to reveal them later as divine setups for something far more significant. Consider the story of Joseph in the Bible. Sold into slavery, imprisoned unjustly. These were not the direct, linear paths to becoming a viceroy of Egypt. Yet each seemingly negative event was an intricate part of God's unexpected how, refining Joseph's character, teaching him leadership, and positioning him exactly where he needed to be for a divine purpose that would save an entire nation. Or think of a more contemporary example. You pray for financial provision for a specific need. You expect a bonus, a raise, or perhaps a sudden inheritance. Instead, an old forgotten skill is suddenly rekindled, leading to a new unexpected side venture that not only covers the need, but also provides a newfound passion and financial stability you never anticipated. These unexpected hows are not detours. They are the most direct routes within the divine algorithm to your ultimate good. They are proof that God is not limited by our narrow vision or our human logic. Furthermore, God's "He will do it" rarely delivers just the bare minimum. Instead, we often witness the amplification of blessing. What God does is almost always greater, broader, and more enduring than our original request. He doesn't just solve the immediate problem. He often uses that very solution to transform the entire landscape of our lives. You pray for healing from an illness, and not only does physical restoration occur, but you gain a profound testimony of faith, a deeper compassion for others who suffer, and a renewed sense of purpose that impacts countless lives. You pray for a difficult relationship to mend, and instead of just a truce, God orchestrates a reconciliation that fosters deeper understanding, stronger bonds, and a more resilient foundation than you ever thought possible. It's akin to asking for a single fish, and God, in His infinite wisdom and love, not only provides a net full of fish but also teaches you how to fish, connects you with a community of fishermen, and shows you how to establish a sustainable fishery. His solutions don't just meet the immediate need. They multiply, they expand, they create a ripple effect of blessing that touches areas of your life and the lives of others you hadn't even considered. He doesn't just patch up the old structure. He often tears down the worn-out parts and rebuilds something entirely new, more beautiful, and more functional than what was there before. So, as we reflect on this profound truth, remember this crucial strategic tip. When you commit your way to the Lord and trust in Him, the outcome will always be better or different from what you expect, but it will never be worse. It will be precisely what is needed, perfectly timed and expertly delivered according to His boundless wisdom. Your task is not to dictate the how or the what, but to maintain the posture of expectant faith, knowing that the divine CEO is at work, orchestrating optimized results beyond your wildest imagination. This understanding frees us from the anxiety of specifying the exact solution and allows us to truly marvel at the creative, powerful, and loving ways our God chooses to fulfill His promise. We've journeyed through the deep waters of committing your way to the Lord, understood the radical transfer of authority to the divine CEO, and embraced the active, compass-guided trust that fortifies our faith. We've even peeled back the layers of His promise, He will do it, recognizing the surprising, amplified, and optimized nature of His divine algorithm. But now, a pivotal question emerges, one that often separates those who merely understand these principles from those who truly experience their transformative power. If we've handed over the reins, if we've trusted Him completely, what then is our role while God is doing it? What do we do in that interim, that space between our prayer of commitment and the manifestation of His power? This isn't a time for passive idleness, for spiritual complacency, or for simply sitting back and watching the world go by. That would be a misunderstanding of partnership, a betrayal of the active faith we've discussed. No, this stage is about activating the weight, and it's beautifully illustrated by a concept I call cultivating the field of miracles. Think of it this way. If God is the master architect, designing and executing the grand project of your life, then you, my friend, are the diligent gardener. Your role isn't to build the skyscraper. Your role is to prepare the soil, to plant the seeds of faith, to nurture what is within your reach, ensuring the ground is fertile and ready for the divine harvest. You don't control the weather or the growth of the seed, but you certainly can decide the quality of the soil and the consistency of the watering. This active cultivation takes many forms, but primarily it involves inspired action. These are not frantic, anxious attempts to make things happen in your own strength. Rather, they are small, obedient steps prompted by the Holy Spirit, often seemingly disconnected from your grand request. They are the quiet nudges, the subtle insights, the gentle urgings to learn something new, to extend kindness to a stranger, to read a particular scripture, to call someone you haven't spoken to in ages, or to organize your home. These actions, though they might feel insignificant in the face of your monumental prayer, are actually God's way of preparing you, positioning you, and aligning your practical steps with His supernatural plan. They are the earthly echoes of heavenly directives. Consider the farmer who, after sowing the seed, doesn't sit on his porch demanding rain and sunshine. He tends to the soil, removes weeds, builds fences to protect his crop, and maintains his tools. He acts in accordance with the expectation of a harvest. Similarly, if you are praying for a new job, your inspired action might be to update your resume, network with intentionality, or take a course to sharpen your skills, even if you don't see an immediate opening. If you are praying for healing, your inspired action might include adjusting your diet, prioritizing rest, or seeking wise counsel for your physical well-being. These are not attempts to earn the miracle, but expressions of your faith that God will act, and you are positioning yourself to receive and steward what He provides. It's a testament to your belief that your divine CEO has a plan, and you're actively cooperating with the implementation phase, even if you only see the immediate next small step. These small acts of obedience are like laying down individual bricks for a path only God can fully see. Each brick might seem minor, but together they form the pathway for His intervention. Hand in hand with inspired action comes what I call the posture of anticipatory gratitude. This is a profound spiritual discipline. Most of us are conditioned to give thanks after the blessing has arrived. We celebrate the harvest once it's in the barn. But anticipatory gratitude is different. It is the revolutionary act of praising God, of expressing heartfelt thanks and worship before the miracle manifests. It is the unwavering conviction, born of deep trust, that He will do it, so much so that you can celebrate its certainty even before you see its physical proof. This isn't faking it until you make it. It's faith declaring it until you see it. This posture of gratitude is incredibly powerful. It shifts your focus from the problem to the solution giver. It transforms your spirit from anxiety to expectation. It cultivates an atmosphere of joy and peace, which are powerful spiritual forces. When you thank God for the provision that hasn't yet arrived, for the healing that is still unseen, for the breakthrough that is just over the horizon, you are essentially telling the enemy that his tactics hold no power over your faith. You are declaring that your trust in God's character is so solid, so unshakable, that you already consider the promise fulfilled because He is faithful. This kind of gratitude isn't just an emotion, it's a strategic weapon. It changes the spiritual atmosphere around you. It aligns your spirit with God's spirit. It's the ultimate expression of confidence in the divine CEO's ability to execute His plan flawlessly. So, as you wait, as you cultivate your field, engage in that spiritual exercise. Visualize the desired outcome, not just as a wish, but as a guaranteed reality from the hand of your faithful God. Thank Him specifically for what He is about to do. Thank Him for the unexpected hows He is orchestrating, for the amplified blessings He is preparing. This isn't about denying your present reality. It's about elevating your faith above it, knowing that God's reality always transcends and ultimately reshapes your own. This active waiting, this purposeful cultivation, is not merely passing time. It is profoundly preparing the way for the miraculous. It is proof that you understand your part in His divine strategy. We've journeyed together through the profound wisdom hidden within Psalm 37, verse 5, peeling back the layers of a familiar passage to uncover a powerful, actionable truth. We started by acknowledging that universal feeling of waiting, of being stuck in God's perceived waiting room. And then we plunged into the revolutionary concept of commit your way to the Lord by understanding it as appointing Him the divine CEO of your life's grand project. This isn't a casual prayer, but a radical transfer of authority, a deliberate surrender of the steering wheel, acknowledging His superior vision and strategy. Then we explored what it truly means to trust in Him, moving beyond passive expectation to an active, compass-guided faith. We learned to flex our muscle of divine memory, intentionally recalling His past fidelities, and to embrace planned leaps, those calculated, obedient steps taken in the direction His word illuminates, even when the path ahead isn't fully visible. This active trust positions us not as mere passengers, but as co-laborers guided by an infallible navigator. From there, we opened our hearts to the astonishing promise, and He will do it. We understood that God operates with a divine algorithm, an omniscient system that orchestrates not just a solution, but the perfect optimized result, often through unexpected hows, and always leading to an amplification of blessing that far surpasses our limited requests. His doing is always better, always more complete, always more profound than we could ever imagine. And finally, we've just concluded our reflection on activating the wait, understanding that our role in the interim isn't passivity, but active partnership. We learned the art of cultivating the field of miracles through inspired action, those small, obedient steps that align our earthly efforts with His heavenly design, and by adopting a powerful posture of anticipatory gratitude, praising Him for the miracle even before it unfolds, knowing His faithfulness is absolute. Now, my dear friend, as we stand at the precipice of this deeper understanding, the ultimate question is not theoretical, but deeply personal. What project of your life, that financial burden, that relational strain, that career uncertainty, that personal struggle, are you truly ready to deliver into the hands of your divine CEO today? Which planned leap, guided by His compass, are you prepared to take, knowing that even if the ground ahead isn't visible, His direction is sure? This isn't about just hearing these words. It's about responding to them. The step, the commitment, the leap, that is yours. The action, the miracle, the transformation, that is His. If this message has resonated with your spirit, if you feel that stirring of conviction and hope, I invite you to make a visible declaration. Share in the comments an area of your life where you are now determined to give this decisive step, where you choose to fully commit and actively trust. And if you desire to continue on this journey of uncovering profound truths that empower your faith, then subscribe to this channel. Finally, remember this always: God is never late, and He is never absent. He is simply waiting for your next intentional step to unleash the very best of Himself into your life. He truly will do it.